Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our August Camino Ways webinar. So thank you for joining us. Fantastic to have you all, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you're coming from, because we do have clients from all over the world, which is fantastic. And so this August, we're having a webinar just about our pre-departures. So a lot of people will book the Camino in August, and a lot of people are traveling in August. So we thought we'd kind of give you an overview of our system, how it works, because it is relatively new. So how to log into our online tour portal and see all the information that you need to go to have a safe journey, essentially, which is all very important. So first of all, if you have booked with us, thank you very much. And if you haven't, no problem at all. You can always contact us directly, email us, or go onto our website, CaminoWays.com, and create a quote, and we'll work with you from there. We're always available to chat with you on the phone, on email, or even on video chat like this, one-to-one, if you need more information. And this evening, I'm Jeremy Perrin. I've been director with CaminoWays. I've been with them about 15 years, and we also have Tania. So we're delighted to have Tania, who's going to talk to you about our system and all the pre-departure documents, which are online. And Tania's been with the company for just over 10 years. She is our operations director. So she looks after all the reservations and customer service. And Tania is from Santiago as well, but based in Italy. So we're delighted to have Tania speaking with us today. So Jonathan, if you want to move on to the next screen, please. So yeah, always and very briefly, we'll just run through about what we do at CaminoWays. So CaminoWays, we offer walking and cycling tours on the Camino de Santiago and the Via Francigena, which is essentially the Camino to Rome. And within that, so we offer accommodation in hotels only. But we can offer a kind of a range of type of hotels from standard, which is 3-star, to country cottages, which are generally off the route, and also superior where available, which could be 4 or 5-star hotels, or power doors, which are fantastic kind of transformed monasteries and castles of Spain, Portugal, which they've transformed into hotels. And then what people love us for is luggage transfer. So we pick up your bags while you're walking and we bring them to the next destination. And Tanya will probably go through a bit of that. And airport transfers as well from local airports. So if you're flying into Spain or Portugal or France or Italy, we'll pick you up from a local airport and drop you to your first hotel and drop you back as well at the end of your experience. We do guided and self-guided as well, and I'll go into that a little bit later, in groups. And then while you're en route, and this is important, especially in this stage, is that we offer a 24-hour assistance number as well, which you can, best way to manage that is to WhatsApp if you have any issues on tour, and this number is for anything to do with the booking that we've booked for you. So you can WhatsApp or call us, and the person at the end of that line will help you, and that's 24/7. So next slide there, please, Jonathan. Thank you. So what's the difference between guided and self-guided, essentially? A lot of people ask us this. So self-guided is what most people do. And essentially, you book the tour with us. We organize all your accommodation, luggage transfers, and anything else you may need. And then with the tour portal, which Tanya will go through later, you will have all our kind of online comprehensive maps and walking notes, how the luggage transfer works, whether you have an airport transfer or not, how that works, a bit of information on the route, generally where it is, how to get there, and but our live mapping is fantastic as well, and a much better option. And then what's included with your meals: breakfast is included as standard, like any hotel stay, but dinners are optional. Generally, we include dinners in the smaller towns and villages, but not in the larger towns and cities, because it's nice to go out and experience what those places have to offer and dine a la carte. And then guided is pretty much the same thing. We do our own guided tours, which are groups with a guide who go on specific routes and specific dates. So you can go into our website, and just at the top of the website, it says guided tours. Click in there and you'll see our set dates and set routes that we offer. And you just join a group of people. And as you all are here this evening from many different locations, could be Ireland, England, US, Canada, Australia, South Africa, you'll probably be joining a group from those countries, and it's all English speaking. So the guide is local, but English speaking, fully fluent. And that's the difference between our guided and self-guided tours. And yeah, we'll move on there. And and then where is the Camino, and what routes do you do? And this is just a brief overview of where the Camino is. So on this map, you'll see, maybe if you use the cursor there to go over Spain. So most of the Camino is in Spain because it finishes in Santiago de Compostela, which where Saint Jacques or Saint James is buried, and Saint James was an apostle of Christ, and he was sent after the crucifixion. Before the crucifixion, I should say, Jesus asked all his disciples to go out and spread the word of Christianity, and he went from the Holy Land all the way over to Western Europe, where he spread the word of Christianity throughout this area specifically. And he went back to Rome, and unfortunately, Pontius Pilate took his head off, and his supporters brought him back to the region, and then his grave was found in about the 9th century, and they've built the church, then a cathedral, and the city built around that. And that's why people to this day still do the pilgrimage to Santiago de Compostela. It's not all about religion anymore. It's very much about a journey, and the routes are fantastic. And the main route being the Camino Frances from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port in France, one day walking, bring you into Spain. And about 760 kilometers later, you will arrive into Santiago. That's the most popular route. And sorry, I was just jumping around there. And then just north of the Camino Frances is the Camino del Norte, and that tracks along the north coast of Spain, dropping down towards Santiago to finish in Santiago as well. And below that, we have the Camino Portuguese, which comes from Lisbon, very popular from Porto up. So 2 days, essentially 2 weeks, essentially walking from Porto into Santiago, mostly along the coast, which is really fantastic. And what I really love about this route is you get the best of both cultures, being Portugal and Spain. And so it's really fantastic. And then some of the smaller routes around Santiago would be the Camino Inglés, or the English way, from Ferrol in the north, just 5 or 6 walking days down into Santiago. It's quite a little short route and great for a second time experience, really. Some repeat customers want to come back and experience something else, but finishing Santiago, can't recommend this enough. And then finishing the Camino itself, which is walking right out to the coast on the western seaboard to Finisterre, in Spanish means Land's End. And that's a very important focal point, and has been for centuries, because that's where people saw the sun going down in across the ocean, and they thought that's where the world ended, and that was a very spiritual place. And traditionally, that people see that as the end of the Camino as well. So Finisterre is another great route, walking from Santiago out into Finisterre. And we just swing across to Italy, where we have the Via Francigena, which is the Camino to Rome. And again, people have been walking this for centuries, walking really from all parts of Europe down into Italy, crossing the Alps into Italy and coming down to Rome. And because they're so extensive and it's quite dispersed, the logistics on that route, we only do it from Tuscany. And we do it from Tuscany down through Italy and finishing in Rome. So it's about 3 or 4 weeks walking from Lucca is where we started, and finishing in Rome. But you've got highlights such as Siena, Montegirone, just fantastic places in Tuscany to walk through and experience. And then finishing in Rome is quite something as well. Finishing as a pilgrim into Rome is really an experience in itself. Walking down St. Peter's Square with a backpack, feeling dusty and dirty, is you really feel you really feel like you're the real thing, essentially. And that's essentially all the routes we do. And as I said, you can go onto our website, CaminoWays.com, and investigate, create quotes, instant prices. You can play around with the quotations, add in days, take off days, and do lots of things like that. And of course, we're always available, as I said, to chat with you over the phone, online, or on email. So I think, yep. So that's the last. So yeah, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hand you over to Tania, and Tanya's going to bring you through the portal, and just it'll take about 10-15 minutes. And then for any questions you have, you can type them in, and Jonathan will come back and we'll answer as many questions as we can before the end of the webinar. So I'm going to go quiet for a while, and hopefully Tanya's going to take over.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. I'm going to share now. You can tell me if you can see my screen.
We can. A little bit, but it's a bit, no, it's gone again. So just bear with us, everyone, for a second. Sorry, technology is always fun.
Especially when we are presenting.
Mm-hmm. There we are. Perfect now, Tania. Thank you.
Excellent. So thank you so much, Jeremy, for your introduction. I'm very happy to join this webinar today. And I hope that you will be walking with us very soon. And if not, that you will do it as well maybe next year. So as Jeremy says, we have been developing since COVID an environment for our clients or our clients that includes basically all the quotations that you will be creating in our websites. And also we have developed the part of all the travel documentation in this. It's quite easy to use because it's very simple, but at the same time, it has a lot of information related to your trip. And I'm going to help you a little bit to deepen in. And we are going through it slowly, just to see if you have any questions or see how we can help you on that. So basically on the client's portal, that's what you are looking now, we have the homepage where we have all the trips that you have confirmed with us. So you can see that they are called active trips. And also in case you have any quotes, you will also see all your quotes in here. I will come back to this later just to show you all the details. I have done a booking for Jonathan, Jeremy, and myself that we're going to go to the Camino tomorrow. And I'm going to show you basically where the information and the key information is. This webinar is about the pre-departure information. So what do you need to know before going to the Camino? So in our portal, you will find all the details, essential details that you will need to know, for example, about the airport transfers, luggage transfers, and accommodation info. I'm not going to go one by one, but in the overall, if you have booked with us airport transfers, so basically we explain it here how would it work. The same for the luggage transfers. This is a very important service that we provide, and is simply bringing you your bags from hotel to hotel. So the most important thing is that you need to understand that our providers move all the bags. So normally you will need to leave the bags at 8 a.m. and then your bags will be delivered normally before 4 o'clock. In here, we also include some relevant information about the accommodation in relation to check-ins, check-outs. So, for example, it's important to know that if you booked a superior collection or a country cottage package, the accommodations could be outside of the Camino just because of the nature of the product. And we could include also transfers to the accommodations. So this is a very general information that we include, so you know a little bit more about what to expect and how it works. Then believe me that at the beginning, especially if it's the first time, can be quite overwhelming because you think that it's going to be very complicated. But then once you're on the Camino and you have done the first day, then everything goes and everything will go very smoothly. And we will be there also 24 hours to support you in case of need. So on this section, as I said, you will be able to see all the pre-departure documentation. At the same time, as we don't provide any physical documentation, you will have everything in this portal. One important part is the travel guides, the travel guidebooks that we have prepared for you. So we have two types. We have our in-house guidebooks that you will be able to download. It's a PDF document and it gives you an overview of each stage, about the highlights that you will be seeing and additional info. Then a second part, it will be buying the Cicerone guidebooks. Those obviously they have much more information about the Camino. They have been, I think, that the main publishers on the market on the Camino, and we offer a 25% discount. You can buy it and you can guess the online guidebook, or you can even guess the physical one if you prefer. And this is additional, obviously, information that is going to help you with your experience. On these parts, we also have the Camino maps. So all the Caminos, including the Via Francigena, the ones that we sell, are really, really well marked. So for that reason, you don't really need a map because you will only need to follow the signs. In Santiago, you will need to follow the yellow arrows, that they are very famous, and you will see them all around the Camino. And on the Via Francigena, I think they are red. So they are not mandatory, but obviously it will help you. So we have designed these maps you only need to click on this link. We have put in here also a little tutorial just to basically to show you how to download these maps basically. And in here, depending on where you will be, so you will need to scroll to zoom in. So for example, as soon as you will be in, for example, imagine that you are in Sarria, which is coming from the French way. This basically open at the moment because I'm in Italy, so I would not be in the Camino. But if you were, for example, in Sarria, you will see a little dots, blue dots, and then basically you will need to follow basically this map. Okay, it gives you an orientation from where it goes. Obviously, you will need to zoom in, and then you will be able to follow the Camino. As I said, it's really well signed, but this is an extra help that you could also have. Then, once we have seen this, if we go again to the home page, what I really want to show you, and this is what myself and my team are working on all the time, is on getting all the services booked for you. So basically, imagine that you have this trip, you only need to click on See Trip and Travel Documents. And in here, we have structured all the information really carefully for you. It's also on the phone, is great as well because it's really easy to navigate. So basically, the first thing that you need to know is, for example, is that you will need to have, if you have booked with us the luggage tags, you will need to print your luggage tag. Let me just close this because I cannot see it. So basically in here, we have included for you the luggage tag that basically is already with your booking reference. That is going to be the key for all your accommodations and for all the services that we will be booking for you. And basically you can just print it out and attach it to your bag. Obviously, this is really important because then our drivers will be able to identify your bags. Then secondly, in here, what you will be seeing is your walking itinerary. So in here, you will be obviously the number of nights that you will be staying on the Camino, the stages where you will be stopping, also the kilometers from town to town. And then in here, you can see also if, for example, in that case, your breakfast was included, the luggage transfers, and in here, we also have a people transfer, an airport transfer, sorry. So this is quite simple, just to give you an overview per day about where you will be staying. Then, for example, in here, you can go directly, you can scroll down or just click in here, and from here, you will see all the service that we have booked for you. This is really important because this gives you the key to know where to go, basically. In here, we are also providing our assistance phone number, which is the one that we are covering on rotation 24 hours, just to give you a peace of mind. And in case there is any issues on the Camino, you can contact us. Normally, you don't have to use this line, but if you have, we will be there just to support you. As you see, the services booked each day. So in that case, you can see that we have a passenger transfer with Taxi Manuel, which is our driver that we have based in Sarria. And this transfer would be from Santiago Airport to Sarria, which is the first hotel that we will have. In here, for example, there is a little note and we say, okay, the meeting point for this transfer is in this location inside the airport. So you might find notes that are relevant for you and you only need to click on expand. And in here, you will find who is included in this transfer. So we can see that Jonathan, Jeremy, and Tania are ready to go in this transfer. In here, then you will find, obviously, the next services that is going to be the accommodation that we have in Sarria is a bed and breakfast. If the dinner was included, you will see in here the dinner that was included. And then also we have a direct link that brings you to Google Maps to see, okay, where this is this hotel. Again, the next service that we have is the luggage transfer. And this luggage transfer is going from one hotel to the other one. And so it will be like this, which is really important. And I want just for the ones traveling now, is that it's really important that you see all the notes that we are including. For example, this hotel, which is for our night in Morgane, which is the second stage that we will be walking, is not on the Camino because it's a casa rural, a country cottage. So in here, we put exactly all the instructions for you to contact the hotel just to organize the pickup, okay? That we will be offering you for you. So then you can ask me any questions you may have at the end of this presentation. I'm going to continue with the room allocation. So after, well, sorry, the flight details. So we also have in here the flight details you will be flying in. There are links to the transfer that we have booked for you. In here, we have the room allocation. So we know that, for example, Tania is gluten-free. For example, she has a dietary requirement, but Jeremy and Jonathan are not. In here, you can see also who is going in which room. So we can see that Jonathan and Jeremy are sharing a room and Tania goes on a single room. In here, we have the pricing details and then also the payment details, okay? As I said, it's quite easy to use. You can log in through the link that we will be sending you. We will send you different reminders also prior departure to give you access to the portal. So it will be super easy for you to follow. And yeah, I think that's all from my side for now. Jeremy?
Excellent, Tania. Thank you very much. And I know looking at a system like that can be very confusing for everybody. And and the easiest thing to do is actually go into your account and into your trip portal. Don't be afraid to press the buttons. You're not going to do any damage. Look at the menu on the left-hand side. It's self-explanatory what is displaying, and it'll bring you exactly to that point. So if you want to see information on your luggage transfer, just click that. If you want to see information on your hotels, click that. Your hotels also have links with the address, the phone number, and Google Map link as well, so you can direct yourself from that. And I've noticed a couple of questions coming in about luggage transfers, and I'll try to answer them all in one. And a lot of the questions about the tags. Yes, it seems a bit ridiculous that you have to print the tags and put paper tags on your bags, and I agree with you. So all you need to do really, most people have tags with their names and addresses on their bags, and that's essentially what you need. For the simple reason is on your first luggage transfer day, our team will put their own tags on the bag so they can identify them for the rest of the time you are there. So that's very important, is that we're able to identify the bags on the first morning. And it is, yes, you can print off the tags, you can put your name and address on them and put them in your own, if you like, identifier, or just your own identifier is absolutely adequate as well. But it's always important that you add your trip code. That's your trip reference. That begins with CWX. That is unique to you, and that's something you should also add to the information you have on your bag, and it'll help our team identify the luggage transfers. I'm going to ask Tania a question because I also see lots of questions coming in about the fires. And I know Tania's been monitoring the fires extremely closely. So obviously we have a lot of people coming to walk in September, and a lot of people are asking, what are the fires like around Sarria to Santiago? And also, are the country cottages being affected with the fires? So maybe you could shed some light on that a bit, Tania.
Yeah, I mean, likely the situation in Galicia was horrible only in the province of Ourense, but we have been very lucky because the Camino was not affected at all. The only section that has been closed this week and it has reopened today, it was the stage between Rabanal del Camino to Ponferrada, which is 200 kilometers away from Santiago. So this section has been closed for 3 days since 4 days since Sunday, just because of the smoke, but everything is calming down now. And there was a fire, but it was 40 kilometers away, and just as you know, for the smoke they closed it. Now it's has reopened today, and we have clients. I think we have 3 clients traveling with no issues, and they have already passed this section today. On the other side, in Ourense, if anyone goes to Via de la Plata, which is where this locality is, also the train to Madrid was not operating for more than 1 week, but yesterday at 5 they have restarted again with all the services. So it seems the situation is now under control, and as I said, the Camino has been not affected in Galicia, in Spain, or in Portugal. So yeah, so I think that's the most updated update I can tell you.
Yeah, excellent, Tanya. That's very descriptive. I think that the bones of that is that Sorry Santiago is not affected. It is about Orense is about 102, 3, 4 kilometers south of Santiago, so quite far away, and also around Ponferrada, which is 200 kilometers from Santiago as well, and about 100 kilometers from Sarria, where a lot of people are starting. And also temperatures are dropping as well, so we don't expect really any more issues with fires as we go through the weeks. So by September, we should actually be fine. I think Tanya's just answered the question there. I'm going to try and fly through some of the questions here. Someone said about access to the Zoom meeting. Yes, we will be posting up this link on YouTube, probably in about 24 hours. So Jonathan will look after that. And somebody's asking about booking buses. I think you can't book the buses. They're public transport. I think you pay to go, and there's always space in Rome and plenty of buses that go from Santiago through Lugo and then to Sarria. And I'm just trying to get them quickly, so apologies. Maybe Tanya can jump in if I'm saying anything incorrectly. How's the Wi-Fi connection in country cottages? Intermittent, I would say. I always recommend people that if there's Wi-Fi in some of the older hotels or in country cottages, it's usually best within the lobby or bar area. So you could always ask for a room that's quite close to the lobby or quite close to the bar. Maybe not good for noise, but it's good for Wi-Fi. But that's in the older hotels and country cottages. It's usually they'll have it in the kind of, let's say, the public areas of the reception and things like that. So back to private transfers as well, as a couple of questions coming in there. I mean, essentially when you
yes,
land,
I see a.
You're just jumping in and out of signal there a bit, Tanya. So I'll try and answer it.
Yep.
So with the private transfers, you walk out of the secure area of the hotel. That's the area where you pick up your bags, and then you come through into the public area through the sliding doors, like you would in most hotels, and where you see everyone standing with signs. And you just look out for the person holding up a sign with your name and or your trip reference. Go up and introduce yourself, and they'll take you out to the taxi. If you're delayed and you know you're delayed, please WhatsApp our assistance number with the details of the delay, so then we can contact our transporters and tell them that to keep an eye out because the flight's delayed and this time is going to change, so they're not there waiting for you, and that can cause a cancellation of a transfer if you're not there at the time that has been selected for you. A bit more about the tag, so I'm just going through the questions now. The Portuguese coast, I don't think has been impacted by the fires at all, so you have no problems there. If you have any real specific interests and you're traveling in August and it's about fires, I suggest you contact customer care at CaminoWays.com. We do not expect there to be any issues in September about this. This happens annually, and sadly it's happening a little bit more than usual, but it definitely happens around kind of July and August. This is quite late for it to be happening in August, but we don't expect there to be any issues going into September. But it is weather, things can change. Where do I get water each day? The water in the hotels and your accommodation is absolutely 100% drinkable, so you can fill up your water bottles when you're in your hotels or accommodation. There's also lots of little wells and water stations along the route, and it does have a sign on it which says water is drinkable. The water is very fresh and good in northern Spain. It's coming straight off the mountains to the north, so it's really refreshing water actually, and I can't recommend it enough. Do you provide GPS, TPX routes for cyclists? No, you use our Google Maps as Tanya displayed. They work as well with bikes as they do with walkers, and it does follow the actual route. So it's really important that you zoom in and it's quite difficult to see on the webinar, but when you open the map, it is the whole Camino. Just zoom in of where you're starting, and your own little icon, as it would be if you're driving with a car, pops up and you'll see it. And as you move, it'll move with you. So then you can zoom in as close as you can, so you're within a quarter of a mile, and you can see where you're going. But as Tania mentioned, there's fantastic markings on the Camino with the shell, with the yellow direction markers as well, and lots of other people walking the same route. Getting lost on Camino can be part of the experience and a little bit of fun as well. And I always advise people, if they're lost, if you feel you're lost, you probably are. Turn around, go back to where you know you weren't lost, and the locals will help you as well. They're fantastic at doing that. I've had my own experience in that. Hello, Albert from London, just saying hello back. And I think we're going to wrap it up now. I'm sorry if I didn't get to all your questions. And I know there's a little bit of interruption during that, but I think Tanya got the point across really well. Thank you again for joining us. It's fantastic to see some of the faces of our clients. And I do hope that you all have a fantastic Camino when you go. And if you're still planning, please do contact us. If you have further questions for your upcoming trip, please contact us at customercare@CaminoWays.com. It's quite busy at the moment, so instead of our usual same day reply, it might be a day or two more. But yes, so Jonathan's just put up the links there. So get your instant quote at CaminoWays.com. It'll come up on the planner. There's a little link there to say just plan my Camino. Our website is CaminoWays.com. For all information, if you haven't booked yet, it's info@CaminoWays.com. And if you have booked and you have questions, please contact customer care at CaminoWays.com. I hope you all have a great day, evening, or whatever you have planned for the rest of the day. Keep up the training. It's also vitally important. Just get out there and do some walks with a good weight backpack on your back. It makes it all easier when you actually arrive at the Camino. And again, sorry I didn't get to all the questions, but I wish you all a good evening.